conversation that I had on Friday with Giovanni and King Solomon of the SFU Students of Caribbean and African Ancestry and SFU African Student Association, respectively, about Black History Month and some events that they've got planned and coming up over the next couple of weeks as we round out February. So that is coming up right now.
Yes, my name is King Solomon, and I'm IS Major. I'm in my last year, and I'm a VP for the Africans, VP internal for the African Student Association, SFU.
Yeah, I'm Giovanni, I'm the president of the Students of Caribbean and African Ancestry. Basically, I'm just doing computer science major here at SFU, and third year student.
Okay, and the two of you are here today to promote some events, right?
Yes.
So, as most people probably know, February is Black History Month. So, what have you got coming up to celebrate?
Well, we've had a myriad of events already, and we're actually having a lot more. Both we and ASA, SOCA and ASA, are both collaborating on a range of events. On the 7th, we had the Black History Month kickoff, and on the 2nd, we had the Afro Chill social that the ASA put on. But the major upcoming events that we have right now is on the 19th.
On the 19th, it is the Congo Crisis. It is an event that we are organizing here at SFU in partnership with another community organization called the Voice of Ituri that promotes journalism and like academia in academia in Congo. And the Congo Crisis is about, like a prominent, it is going to feature a prominent Congolese journalist called Lick Malembe, and he's a human rights activist as well. So it's going to be talking about, the political and humanitarian crisis that's unfolding in that country, and more precisely, about how it is to be a journalist. So your job in the Congo, in a place, in an area of very conflict, dictatorship, and all those kinds of stuff. So he's gonna be talking, explaining to the Canadian audience how it is to be like a journalist in the Congolese, conflict.
So one of his main things is about protecting freedom of speech in a time of war. So we also have other events coming up that also discussing stuff like that. So on the 24th, we really have our Black History Month panel discussion and open forum, which is going to be called Black History in a Canadian Context. It's on February 24th at 5 p.m. So I want everybody to come out to that. We have other events as well, such as the movie marathon. ASA will be hosting Sarafina, which is a movie, and at 6 p.m. in the Global Student Center here, as well as we have the Black Panther movie night.
Oh, so excited.
Yeah, so everybody is going to meet up at 5:30 in the Rotunda, and then we'll head out for the 7:30 showing. So everybody should come out in their Afro wear. It doesn't matter who, just everybody just try and come. We've had all our tickets are sold out right now, but you still can get tickets online and come with us.
It's so fun to go to a movie in a big group of people. Last time I did that was back in high school for one of the Star Wars movies, but so much fun.
This one will be much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely so.
Yeah.
So the events, it seems like there's a good mix of fun, socializing things, but also a lot of things to share important stories or make you think. How important is it to keep that balance?
Yeah, so it's very important, especially on a campus like this. First, we try and get everybody moving. So one of our main stuff is to try and get persons to learn about the culture, but in a fun way. So you learn about the food, the dancing, and nobody can take away from food and music, right?
Right.
So they love that. They love, with my club, they love the Caribbean atmosphere and everything. With ASA, they love the African, the Afro beats, all of that. So it's really good to have that mix. And then you come with the education aspect and say, hey, with all of this, within the context of home and here, we can share our experiences and how we come about these things being formed.
Right. So you lure them in with the fun a little bit. hit them with truth. Cool. Yeah, that seems like an effective strategy.
Yeah, very effective. But so I repeat about the Black History Month panel discussion and open forum. So basically we have a range of, it's not just the panel discussion only. So we have a lot of speakers coming in to talk in the panel. We have performances, so poetry, dance, music. So you'll see all those stuff that they talk about within that same event as well. And then we have an open forum, so open it to the floor so persons can talk about
for
it.
Discussion.
One of our documentaries, we're actually watching a documentary on that day about Hogan's Alley. Persons don't know that there is certain history with the black community here in Vancouver, and we want to highlight that event, especially if that there's talks about redevelopment of that city.
Yeah, well, the city just announced its sort of Olympic Village, Chinatown, False Creek development plan, and there is at least some mention in there of creating some sort of cultural preservation or historic preservation of Hogan's Alley.
Yes, and there's a lot of action happening in terms of the city council to try and get a reconstruction of something similar to what was there before the viaduct was built there, as you know.
Well, and I know that I mean, personally, and just in my experience, most people don't know a lot about the history of black communities in
Metro Vancouver.
Yes.
Does that sort of fit with your experience?
Yes.
Big time. Yeah, it is it is very ridiculous for us. We came from outside this country, then we found that this is a very democratic country. But if you look at how the history of black people were evicted from Hogan's Alley, for example, it is terrible. And that happened very recently, less than 50 years ago.
Yeah, this was 1972, and other issues we're trying to speak up about in terms of the indigenous communities here as well, and other issues that happen.
As good as we have it here, there are still lots of racism and lots of things that might not be explicitly laid out in policy or whatever.
Yeah, it's very subtle. But as one of the characterizations in the documentary we're about to watch was, they weren't saying, oh, this ghetto neighborhood. They were saying, oh, this neighborhood is blight. So that was the word that was used, right? Yeah, but we also want to talk about current issues as well, housing crisis, and how do we mitigate that, and talk about it in the context of just the Prime Minister just announced International Decade of Persons of African Descent here in Canada. So that's the decade, I think, from 2015 to the next 10 years. But
It's always struck me as a little funny starting the decade halfway through. That's all right. Can the two of you maybe tell me a little bit about your organizations, the African Students Association and Students of Caribbean Ancestry?
Caribbean and African Ancestry, yeah. So, Students of Caribbean and African Ancestry is about teaching a lot about the cultural aspect, the food, the music, the dancing of both African and Caribbean diaspora and persons living here that are, have that ancestry, or even normal Canadians. It's just about learning and trying to get persons involved and knowing all of this stuff. ASA is more about the continent, the issues of the continent, and all that. Food,
almost the same, but just a small focus on the African continent.
Right.
Everything is we are the same people, the history and everything. It's just we have a slight focus on we slightly focus on the orientation of new Africans.
Yeah, so the political, the social and economic issues currently facing the African continent also.
Yeah, so that's the difference. But everything else we are.
You work together.
We collaborate a lot.
These are our natural allies. Yeah, they are our brothers and sisters.
Cool. Do you have what do you do the rest of the year? Just in terms of activities.
So we have had some big Convo Mall events. So for instance, a heat wave, so persons can come and dance and try and get that fitness level up, and we promote health and well-being. We also have movie nights, social gatherings. African Students Association had a big day.
We promote, almost this. We just promote. We present Africa to the Canadian audience. So that entails music, food, fashion, and most of our events are created, oriented toward those things. Mm-hmm. So about issues, and including the advocacy too. About social and political issues in Africa. We have a very particular way of presenting them, rather than what, the Canadian media, for example, or the politics of this country present African issues. So we present them in a certain way that's more informative in our perspective of how we think should be presented.
Well, and it helps to be able to provide the right context and frame things the right way.
Yes, that's right. That's what we do.
Yeah, and SOCA also try and go out into the community and have like performances and stuff like that. So we actually choreograph and have those kind of performances. So if persons are interested in performing with us, it's not a problem. They can come, and we get that revenue into the club as well, and trying to launch other events coming. So that's a good initiative. We have other themed events such as Juves and stuff like that. So Juve is like a festival that we have in July 1st. So persons go outdoor, and we have a lot of paint. It's basically close to Holly, but with Caribbean and African music.
Cool.
So it's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. Where can people find out more about your organizations or these events?
Our platforms.
So we have Facebook, facebook.com/SFU SOCA, as well as they can go on Facebook as well and search up African Students Association. We also, in SOCA, we also have a group on Facebook, so it's fb.com/groups/SFU SOCA. So it's just once you have SFU SOCA in there, you'll find it, and once you have ASA, you'll find ASA as well.
Everything, our information, our posts, and so on. And you can just, if you write us a message, we'll be glad to reply back to you and answer your questions.
And also, the club's portal is very good at SFSS. We know we have to thank SFSS for all the support that they've given us. So
big up for
everything. So Lawrence is really good. Lawrence. Calls himself LJ. But yes, SFU SOCA at gmail.com and African Students Association SFU at gmail.com.
Great. Anything else you think myself or listeners should know?
So I'm just going to give a last pitch for Black History in a Canadian Context. Celebrate with SFU SOCA and ASA February 24th, 2018 at 5 p.m. at the Leslie Diamond Family Auditorium. Music, dance, poetry, food, endorsed by SFSS. Everybody.
Come and test the spirit of Afrobeats, reggae, all sorts of African music.
Yes.
Awesome, I'm in.
And you are personally invited. We'll have red carpet laid down for you.
Thank you. I'll expect my media pass.
Big time. You come and test. Like we're gonna have like a real music, poetry and so beside. But as myself personally, I'm encouraging you to come and listen to music. Like in a traditional fashion, a cappella, live, everything.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Celebrating oneness through diversity.
Sweet.
Tune in to CJSF 90.1 FM on Wednesday, February 28th for the first annual Student Radio Marathon, a full day of student-led programming, including ideas and topics about student life and the initiatives they're involved with around the campus and community. All day here on CJSF 90.1 FM on February 28th, it's the first annual Student Radio Marathon. The Canadian Carceral Conference happens this March 1st to 4th at the Goldcorp Centre for the Arts. Featuring keynote speakers and plenary events, the conference aims to examine the myriad of ways in which the carceral has come to shape many aspects